All right, guys, here we're talking about the movie Hellraiser. 1987's Hellraiser, Lee. Had you seen it before?
Of course.
Yeah.
But not for a while. So I was happy to revisit it. It's a movie.
It sure is.
It's an actual movie.
This is one that I think I would catch the end
Throws
many
me off.
times on TV.
Yeah, I think I'd seen pieces or even GIFs or little clips and other stuff where people compare things or something. I had a general sense, but I know I've seen it like a long time ago.
Sure.
And I think I've grown since then.
Yeah.
I appreciate this as a film. I think it's good. It's a good movie. Just to say literally nothing of the series and where it's gone from there and the overall horror picture that it fits into, I think just as a film, I was like, that's good. You disagree?
I think there are parts of all the movies that I'm like, I really like that aspect, but I think overall, not my favorite franchise.
Oh, okay.
And
I thought you were going to say, this is the worst Hellraiser. And I was like, wow.
oh no,
hot take.
This is not close to the worst Hellraiser.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But not my favorite film. But I do think that it's like, it's got some great shit that we're definitely going to talk about in the spoiler section.
I'd forgotten what it actually is, because that's what I mean to say. It's gone so many places. There are such things to show you that I've forgotten what this actually is, and I'm like, oh, that was good. That original thing was good. Sure.
Yeah. All right, guys, if you've seen or don't care, it falls over to spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, so here we are for the spoilers of Hellraiser. Lee, let me hear them spoiler-filled thoughts.
Yeah, I think I'm actually nostalgic for it. I see that box, I'm just like, I love that box.
Yeah,
guys, it's the box. And he's
Pinhead's
playing with it,
pretty
and I'm
cool.
like, stop playing with the box. What are you doing?
Yeah.
He doesn't know yet, though. It's the first movie.
The box is interesting. I think that's my thing, is that there's a lot of really interesting things about this, but they're in it so minimally. Like the cenobites, Hellraiser, the whole we are from a hell dimension, we are some call it heaven, whatever.
Doors to the pleasures of heaven or hell. I didn't care which.
That's really cool, and that's vibey, and the visuals of all them and how they take care of business, very cool. But it's such a small part of it. It's probably like 3% of the movie. It's very small.
That I almost like that though. Again, in a world where this was the only film, it's this fascinating thing.
Sure.
The fact that we've elaborated so much, we've gone to space.
I cannot die!
We've gone to 1400s France or whatever the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
It goes so on, and I do like the idea of expanding on it more. But that's how I've always framed it up.
Okay.
Whereas now, something so cool about this, this is about this is not Pinhead, the guy from Hellraiser, the guy. This is just this crazy, it's about this family.
Will you drive? He needs stitches.
Yeah, sure.
The keys are in the kitchen.
So stupid.
It's about the drama of the people. I think the whole family is giving really good performances.
I need to talk to you.
Of course. It's okay, baby. Julia told me everything.
Oh, no. See,
There's a lot of creepy stuff, and it even avoids some of the tropes of you're not my real mom. All this stuff is kind of subtext in a way where you're just watching the collapse of this frail set of people giving into their worst desires and then brushing up against an unspeakable cosmic horror. And I'm like, that's a movie, man.
I think it's weird in its framework.
I'm not gonna keep talking like that.
There's so much that is seemingly tied to this house that I don't I would have liked more elaboration on that. Even a one or two sentence line, how he even comes back into existence. I'm like, I don't understand. And him being the brother. But why would that do that?
It's going to need stitches.
I'm going to throw up.
You're not going to throw up. Just take it easy. Just take it easy. It's going to be all right.
Because it does it. What do you mean?
Exactly.
We have proof. It happened.
I don't believe it.
That's how it works.
Yeah, it's very strange.
No,
And
it's really
her
'cause,
infatuation, I would have liked something about him being from the beyond that made her like that, because it I don't recall. I don't think she ever knew him in the before, right?
No, she's having sex with him, I thought.
Well, she's having sex with him, yes.
Well, so I took it like she had an affair.
That I wasn't sure
with him.
I would allow that.
That's how that's my read on it.
I know she definitely grabs one of those pictures and rips part of it off or whatever.
Yeah.
But I thought that was just because she became fast friends with oh, I love this guy. Oh, I want this guy.
Oh, I thought she. So I think she.
Because I thought it was like a Spanish lady or a Japanese lady or something in those pictures.
Oh, I have no idea what's going on with the pictures.
Oh, okay.
I thought she was.
I thought that's what you were telling me.
No, well, there are some flashbacks, unless you think that they're fantasies.
I thought those were fantasies.
All right, I think that they're flashbacks. I think she was having an affair, or she used to date Frank, and now she has settled for the much more boring and safe, man. But she never got over her like a moth to the flame, drawn to this abusive asshole who has now acquired the ability to be an abusive asshole in a cosmic way, as opposed to just mild mannered.
Coming in at the rain is the flashback to the first time she met him.
You're Julia, right?
That's right. Who are you?
I'm Frank.
I think so.
Because of how he introduces himself, I'm Brother Frank. I was like, okay, not knowing that it's a flashback, I think, yes, it could definitely be interpreted as a flashback, but I think it can equally be interpreted as a fantasy. And her not knowing who that character, I guess it has to be a flashback. I don't know, but either way,
they have her in young makeup, not young makeup.
I thought all the things with her were weird, how everyone reacts around her is this is the hottest woman in the world, and I was like, she looks like the normal mom from that '70s show.
She's normal, but they code her as being a seductress of some sort, right?
But it takes a certain kind to do that.
But she brings home shitty guys.
They're all nerds, but
that's what I like
of the time, I think people just look like that.
You know you are. Loveliest woman I've ever seen.
Including her. Touchdown. No,
I guess.
I like that she brings home these pathetic. So she has to go she has to go cheat on her husband again, times 10. I have to bring hapless dudes home to be eaten by Frank now.
That's what you brought me here for, isn't it? What isn't it?
But this is again, this is my only I like the idea that this is Frank continuing to be abusive to her, but in this way where it's and she's falling into the old pattern of
Frank's kind of cool. He has an Indiana Jones thing going
on.
Frank
is cool.
I would have liked more about what his whole thing was, because it seemed like he was aiming for that box on purpose. He knew sometimes he's an archaeologist.
He was doing a ritual. He was doing something.
But then when they look at some sort of a transient's been living in our house, and he sees weird sex shit, he's like, my brother.
Frank.
He's here.
That's the best we really learn about him. I would have liked to know, because he seems like an interesting character. I would have liked to know more about him.
I think
maybe if he had tips or tricks to fight the Cenobites, because it seemed like he was able to delve into this world for a little while before it ultimately ripped him apart, which is one of the coolest deaths of the 80s.
It destroys him, basically. He gets drawn in by it and stuff. Do you mean at the end or in the whatever?
I like his first one, I think, better than I like his second one.
Just having Pinhead kind of sorting through the gore.
I think exactly it. Making his face.
Yeah, and but the way he's going through it, it's just leftovers. He's no, very casually.
Yeah.
Little things like that, because at a certain point, they're laying it on kind of thick for me, where it's oh, there's a spinning, wooden thing with meat, nailed to it. I'm like, okay, yes, we've all paused in the middle of Event Horizon and seen these things before. We don't need to fucking. It's laying it on kind of thick. But when they interact, when they do stuff, when you see,
even simple things like the rats nailed to the wall, you're like, okay, that's
not
the thing.
And not being fully dead, it's writhing around and stuff. Yeah, there's a good casual violence and depravity here.
Yeah, I like our main girl. I think she's pretty good.
Hi.
Do you want to buy a bed?
Not much. Dad.
Kirsty.
Hi.
Hello, sweetie. Come here.
But I don't think they give enough legs there. Or even
I have a lot to say about this.
Her.
It's funny you've fallen directly into my trap again. I think a normal horror movie would have followed her. She'd be like, oh, I don't like her. She's acting weird. I saw her with someone. Oh, man. And the dad's like, honey, come on. She's not trying to replace your mother. This is what, and they go through this
not trying at all.
This whole fucking thing. And, well, yeah, but that would be the irony is oh, he's defending her, but she's doing satanic rituals and trying to kill him and stuff. And the daughter is, oh, her friend's at school, and oh my God, I'm taking my driver's test. This movie skips all that. It follows the mom. And the daughter only really enters into that role when she, when the dad's like, "I want you to stop by," and she catches her and then tries to dig a little deeper and then sees too much and it keeps going and all that shit. I like that it's this weird, it's not what I would have expected it to be. Because by the end, it's like a normal horror movie where she's the final girl.
Yeah.
But it didn't start out that way, which is a nice, like, oh shit, what are you doing, movie?
Did they buy that house or inherit that house? How did they get the house?
Okay, I don't know exactly.
That part lost me too.
Yes. Well, I was gonna say I wasn't watching it to like get facts, or else I would have. There's some dialogue that I didn't pay attention to because to your point, he says like, "Oh, Frank was here" or something.
Yeah.
So there's something about this house that they used to own it, or it's in the family, or there's something, or there's some
because the daughter had never seen it before.
Yeah.
So like I was like, okay, so like it probably wasn't the grandparents' house or something, inherited or whatever. Like, and buying it outright weirdly would be if he was like, and he was just in there and getting ripped apart in his house, like, blah, blah, blah.
We gotta buy it now.
It's very like
there was some.
Okay.
Yeah,
I missed some pivotal piece of word there. I think.
And there's a vibe, actually. I don't even know what Larry knows about Frank or how the whole thing works or whatever. I didn't really think about that. But there's a vibe of like, we're starting over. We're going, we're coming to this house and this is going to be our chance to like start off on the right foot. Come on, honey, we can be happy here. And she's like, oh, fine. And it's this whole thing where I don't know if he even knows that she cheated. And now it's like, we're trying to repair stuff, or there's something has happened in their lives. Though.
Certainly.
And they're like, okay. Let's really make a go of it.
We can be happy.
All right, all right.
So what's the argument?
No argument.
Honey, you don't need a place. Just stay with us. Come on. She's like, no. And it's like, oh, what's going on with your family? What's happening? Yeah.
I like and don't like that they don't really explain how the box works at all, and like really in any way, like how it opens up different dimensions, how it sends people back to things. It's like, okay, I guess sometimes you spin it and it's a gun. And it can shoot things back into the things, and other times it's not.
Like, there are certain moves that it makes that they're going to repeat in all the movies and stuff.
Yeah.
And I like how here, you're just kind of clear that, like, when it does the weird, star spiral shape, that's bad. And then they kind of have it do the same things, but in reverse, and it's banishing them. So you get, like, a rough approximation of, like, okay, I have the idea, but it's, like, inscrutable. You can't, like, turn it. Like, when it summons the weird hallway monster...
Oh no. Oh God. No.
It does like a weird triangle spin, and I'm like, I've never seen it do that before. What the fuck? And I haven't watched the movies in a while, but I think like that was a maneuver. They were like, less of that, more of the spiral and the front that moves forward, and then you're like, what? And then it just moves back, and you're like, why is it moving back? Okay, fuck, and it keeps going.
I like that monster. It's a lot of things going on there, like tail and head in opposite spots where you'd think they'd be. It's kind of coming at you in a weird way.
And the guy on top is doing a lot of action with his hands against the wall and stuff.
That's how he's moving.
It's really creepy. Well, I mean, it's being pushed on a sled, I assume.
Oh, no. That's a real monster.
But the dude was like doing this one, like around the thing. I'm like, that's creepy.
No,
I just love the idea of, I assume in the hospital you're talking about when the wall opens.
Yeah.
And there's like sinew and like weird goo in the wall.
Yeah.
Like it's held together, like it's fleshy, and it's like, it's opening like a door in Beetlejuice, right?
Yeah.
But
they do a good job of just like old, creepy, weird house and room in the hospital. You're like, what year is this from?
Where
Like
is this
20s?
from?
The fuck? The fun stuff like the light coming through the pieces of wood and whatnot.
God.
Like it sets a tone that you certainly have.
I have a whole note about the like the light coming through the slats. It's such like a simple, stupid effect. We would like laugh at it, I guess, but it works so well. Because like the room is not a room, obviously, and they can do that. But it's just like a black void behind it, and you see like that movie smoke. And like like catching the light, and you're like, oh, and you get that vibe. Even at the end, it's like, what's going on? Like, what the fuck? You can tell like they're coming. It has a nice. I dig it.
They got it.
What the hell is that?
Two funny things for me was like the movers seem to have never seen a woman before, and then
that's one of the hubba hubbas you're talking about. Yeah.
And then like a phone's ringing, and he's like, "What the hell is that?" I'm like, "It couldn't be more of a phone."
What the hell's that?
Evil sound, leave our house. This place is haunted. Dad, that's the phone. Turn the thermostat down.
Come here. Come here, damn you. I want to touch you.
I wrote the wife. I was like, she looks like she reads fucking romance novels from the supermarket. Like, not a like sex goddess that I feel like she is portrayed as. But it's funny. It's a different
Everybody's
time,
having sex, man. Even ugly people are having sex.
Sure.
I get lonely sometimes.
Everybody does.
You're like, I don't believe it. I'm skeptical.
It's the way that like she's looked at. Like I could see those creeps looking at the daughter that way because it's like, okay, she's young and they're fucking sickos or whatever. But this like frumpily dressed like British woman, it's like that's a little strange.
She got her mother's looks.
Her mother's dead.
Oh.
She's all right with it.
I'm not saying she's not, but it's the way you're displaying yourself. Like if you saw someone just rip someone apart with their bare hands versus seeing someone like take off the top of a Tylenol bottle, it wouldn't elicit the same response. Those are very specific.
I was gonna say what? You feel like she's so hot. She took opening that Tylenol.
Very strong.
I understand the analogy.
Tylenol arthritis pain gives you up to 8 hours of long-lasting relief.
My Indiana Jones comparisons go more than just like the brother kind of looking in that vibe. There's also like the face melt, but like in reverse as he's like coming back to life, and that's a very cool shot.
Yeah, the effects, right? This was like Thing level to me. I was like, this is awesome.
At times, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean like a lot of it is
less consistently, but yes.
They do a lot, but there are moments where I'm like, that's awesome. It reminds me of like Gremlins when the Gremlins are melting. But again in reverse, right? And just how like, you know, you could tell like that was they were like, all right, we need more goop.
Yeah.
I need the goop to bubble up through the floorboards.
Yeah, a lot of reversing through the
it.
floor. Same thing with like the blood being pushed up and then like, you know, just playing in reverse. I like that stuff. It's fun.
And even him, like there are some incidental shots because he keeps telling, you know, Mom, like, don't look at me.
I said, don't look. Help me.
And stuff. And you're kind of like, well, I mean, we're looking at him. He's messed up, but it's not. But then, like, there's one scene where she goes to close the door, and you see through the closing door as he's, like, crawling over and all weird. And you're like, oh, God, don't look at me. Oh, fuck, he's right. Don't look. Stop looking.
And he, like, sucks the blood out of them like a vampire.
Well, he goes, like, and, like, puts his hand somewhere, and you're like, wait, what is he doing? But they cut away. They're like, listen. This is whatever's gonna happen here is terrible, right? And like he like sucks them of their essence almost. They're like dried
they shrivel
out.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. But then when he takes Larry's skin, it seems like he just put it on.
What are you talking about?
It's best you see for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? That's really interesting.
Because he didn't ever heal himself like completely.
Yeah.
It seems like he had opportunities where he didn't heal a lot, or maybe just the face heals slowest. But
skin might be hard to grow back or something, but he does a little like thing in the mirror where he's like doing stuff where I'm like, oh, you're just wearing a Larry suit. Also, his like hairline is like wet and bloody.
He was insane, baby. Like a mad dog. I had to put him out of his misery.
It was like, do you not notice
no
that
one
he's coated in blood?
Yes,
it couldn't look more demonic.
But then there's no, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but there is no satisfying like, you know, he just like tears it off and he's like, I'm Frank, bitch.
No.
Like he gets
a nice clawing.
That's the iconic face thing that I knew. The minute I saw that, you know, that guy, I'm like, ooh! And like in my head, I was like, his face is like built up from the start because they know that's just the way his face looks. I'm sorry. That is very rude.
That's like the hand rip on the nail or something that like gets to like stays in my head. And like the amount of blood that man loses, and you're like, okay, no wonder it brought back someone from the dead. Like, Jesus Christ.
No, and he like staggers around. He's like, I can't look at the blood, right? He's like...
Why he's even helping them move? I'm like, what decade is this? You pay these idiots... Like,
it's great.
They're both in the easier position, too.
And don't worry, it'll get through.
All right. Hey, you got me off.
All right.
He sucks, though. He takes charge. He's like, I gotta do everything. And it's like, bitch, you can't do anything. Your wife is fucking a dead guy behind your back.
Your brother.
You're so inept.
You're dead.
You're a dead brother. Yeah, which is the ultimate cuckery.
It's coming right up.
I'll be down in a minute.
Okay. There's no hurry.
I like, dude has to pee, gets hammered to death. Hang on, first I gotta pee.
Too much drink. Empty the old bladder.
No, the hammering is really good too. There's just a hammer in there, and she just hits him with the hammer. I love how one time she hits the guy with the hammer, and like it doesn't knock him out. He's just like, "Ow!" And then he gets taken. He's like, "Please don't leave me," and she's like, "I'm leaving."
Please, don't let him kill me.
And it's like, oh god, like it's so messy and weird, and it like barely works, and you're always adds a lot of tension.
Yeah.
I dig it. Not that I'm rooting for her to like get more hammer guys, but I am rooting for her to get.
So like one more thing that I don't get. So there's like homeless Judd Nelson who's eating like grasshoppers.
Oh shit!
Oh my God. Get out.
Who looks exactly like the guy from the Minor Massacre. The first time we see him, he's like peeking through a little like crack in the wall. I was like, okay, that's like the devil or something. Like, what the fuck is that? That's more of that like, okay, you're looting the things that I need to know more of.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? And then like, you know, it ends up back in that same guy in like Arabian Nights or whatever.
What's your pleasure, sir?
Him like eating the crickets and like the daughter being like, "Get out of here! What are you doing? That guy's weird."
You get out of here.
Like it does. It's like meant to give you the creeps or whatever.
I guess it does.
I think in the beginning they didn't see like, oh, it'll be a franchise and we'll have cenobites and we'll sell toys. So in the beginning it was just meant to be like this is one of the several creepy elements, right? But then at the end, and this is where it dipped into, because I remember some of the sequels more than this one. And one of them I remember is like one guy's like, I'm a TV camera monster, and I'm like, this is stupid.
Whoa, what the?
You like the TV. I tell by your face.
I just like the Cenobites in general.
Ready for your close-up, Joey?
I like the way that they look and stuff, and sometimes they have a neat like backstory. But at the end here, this like homeless cricket munching, grasshopper feeding guy turns into like a bone dragon. Yeah. Like, he lights himself on fire. He's like, nope, you're not going to burn this box, which is apparently not being burned anyway. You could have just left it there, whatever. But he's like, I'm taking this out of the fire. Well, I'm on fire. And then you're like, what? And I'd forgotten all about all of this. So I'm like, he's on fire now. That's kind of weird. And then he becomes a hell demon, you know, bloodworm dragon thing and absconds with the box.
A very expensive shot that I think only fills me with more questions.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it could have just as easily ended with like the fire pyre like goes down, the box isn't there, and you could still do that thing where it's like, oh, what does your interest in the box? Like,
no, you could cut from the flaming box, cha-ching, and then just do the same zoom in, zoom out business.
Yeah.
Well, what's your price? And just have it again, just to indicate this box wreaks havoc on people. It opens portals. You don't want the box. Sir, would you like this box?
It would even be funnier if, like, you know, like every movie ever where they're like in this like, oh, I got my little bazaar thing here, and it cuts back and like under the counter is like 50 of those things.
1 million boxes.
Yeah.
Selling more boxes, right? Yeah.
What is inside that counts. This is no ordinary lamp.
Was that the same guy? Was that the box merchant of Agrabah?
The dirty nailed box merchant, I believe.
Such dirty nails.
Very dirty.
Strange color too.
Almost like too dirty. Like you had to work it.
Like you did that on purpose.
You were packing dirt in there.
Seems kind of intentional.
Yeah.
Was that part of your character? What are you doing?
Take it.
There's a part where there's like the upside down, but with feathers. Did you catch that bit? There's just like feathers like floating around, like they're the ash from Stranger Things.
Oh, there's a lot of like she sees things.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, the Cenobites are honorable though, so they're like, okay, you held up your end of the deal, but then they're like, no.
Yeah.
Etc.
Not leaving us so soon, are you?
That one poor bastard, like just the roof collapses on him, and I'm like, would that kill him? Can they die?
I don't think they're being killed ever, but that guy's not banished, so isn't he still in the rubble? And the house disappears, right? They're just like, oh,
that was my thing too. Like I full circle on this.
The ending is a mess.
I was already like, why is the house tied to this whole thing? Period. And then why does it poltergeist its way out of existence? That doesn't make any sense.
No, like you could have framed this like, oh, this is the house that Uncle Frank died in, and whenever anyone says Uncle Frank, the wife's like, because I don't want you to know, you know that I cheated on you with him or whatever. But like that could have been like a more because him doing his little box ritual in that one room in the attic and then being like, oh, now that's why it's tied to the house now is fine. But they seem to kind of accidentally move there, which feels a little weird. Not out of the blue. They know there's some connection, but it also feels a little clunky.
It's weird because like there's a part where there's like a telltale heart bit. I'm like, oh, when he got pulled apart, did his heart end up in the fucking floor? But then like it's beating, and I'm like, well, why is it still beating?
When the blood goes down, I love that shot. When they like follow down and you see stuff's like the blood's doing something in there. It's not literal. His heart's not. He's not literally under the boards. It's that it's a portal. It's an inscrutable
There's not enough
mouth.
there that made it clear to me. It just always felt like a little weird. I'm like, wait, why is this happening? I don't know.
I think that's intentional though.
I think it's the 80s and we didn't give a shit and we're just making a movie.
They obviously were like, it's better to leave an open question than to answer it poorly. Like I like that though. But the final thing that I like, because something about houses sometimes, I loved how it feels weird. Sometimes people are downstairs and they kind of shout up, and then like the mom is there but like doesn't say anything, and then the person goes, huh, and kind of leaves and stuff.
Julia?
Like it has this weird vibe. Like sometimes when you're a kid, you're in a house and it feels like there's just like so much house. Like you could get
It's a large house.
It is a large house. But obviously like it makes the house feel unreal and foreboding, that it seems like people can kind of be in different parts of it and get lost and find it. Like they open a door once and you're like, what is this room? What the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Like it has a cool where I'm like, ooh.
I felt that way about a lot of parts of the movie.
Yeah.
Like the daughter's boyfriend.
It's like a metaphor
I was like,
of the thing.
is that literally her boyfriend? Because at the dinner, it just seems like he's a guest.
Okay, stop. I'm not gonna be able to stand up.
So lie down.
And then like it's like, no, I've been her boyfriend forever. I'm the guy.
Do they say that? Because
I don't know.
I thought they just started dating. Like someone was like, he's your age, and she was like, yeah, and then I'm making out. And
I don't know why he would ever be at that party though. It's very strange.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. This is the night of the paper hat here. We're celebrating something. So sit down.
I think it's also weird, like, she doesn't want the husband to die, like, right away, and, like, at first it's like, I want him to live, and there's a part where the brother's, like, gonna kill him, and she's screaming, like, no, stop, whatever.
No.
But the husband's not reacting at all. He doesn't stop his sexual advances for, like, so long.
Please, no, please. I can't bear it, please.
Eventually.
She's screaming at him no. The only thing that he could think she's saying no to is him.
I don't understand you. Hey, one minute you're all over me, and the next
doing what he's doing, and it's the 80s, I guess. You don't.
I was gonna say in the 80s you get they call it the 5-minute rule. Now I don't know. Well, I don't know if you're aware of the. No, I'm not going to elaborate. He does interpret it that way afterwards, but I think it's a movie. You have to be dramatic. We have to draw it out. It has to be a thing. And I think it even takes a second for everyone to get on the same page as an audience member that like he's going to react as if Frank wasn't behind him with a knife, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, you're giving me mixed signals, bitch. And she's like, right.
Yeah, no,
their relationship sucks. It's like full of tension and pain and stuff, and they really get that across.
Speaking of tension and pain, I love when the daughter like grabs his guts, kicks him in the nuts, and then bounces. And
Wait.
I'm like,
she's out.
Okay, got that. That's cool.
That might be before. Is that when she steals the box? I think.
I think so.
You want it?
Give me the box.
You want it? Fucking have it!
That's one of the...
Or like throws out the window, maybe?
After she steals the box is one of the inexplicably worst, because they're usually filming at the house. In this, they have to film her like walking down the street, and it looks weirdly bad to me. I don't know if if it stood out to you.
But it didn't stand out, but...
I was like, this sucks. This is from like a different movie that has zero budget.
Well, different film crews for interior and exterior.
I'm saying, they had to go pick up some stuff, and it shockingly bad. Looked like a TV. Looked like a TV spot or like a commercial. In my opinion, from memory, I don't know.
Jesus wept.
The finger in the mouth.
So weird. Who does that? Chatterbox? What's his name?
I don't know, but it's very strange.
The mouth? Why?
I think the guy just wanted to do that.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's not a thing.
What's his thing?
Well, fucking, he's like, listen, I had to sit in makeup for this long. I'm raping your mouth. What? Cut the VOD.
We're going to use that. I wonder what else he can do with his mouth.
What I'm saying. Ties a cherry stem.
Yeah. The hooks in general are the thing that I remember the most. Hooks in the box, and I do love the effect of them flying out of like the darkness and doing their thing. And
yeah,
I just think it's something that's never been replicated. Like that's a really iconic, cool thing, and like not much beats that very simple thing. No, just like ding, 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 and like hooks are now in your shit.
And like, every now and then one of the close-ups looks dated, but it's okay. Yeah. And yeah, it's like Spawn. You get these chains coming out that are really like evocative of stuff. Something about it, again, like they just picked a certain set of like this is the palette of imagery that we have. It's pain, it's hooks and chains and all these specific like things, and yeah, Clive Barker, baby.
I was just gonna go Clive Barker, motherfucker. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Well, this is it. The old homestead.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition.